The Equal Rights Amendment, or the ERA, which says equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex, was first introduced by suffragist leader Alice Paul in 1923. I'm here speaking with Asa Gregory, an activist fighting to ratify this amendment to the United States Constitution. Asa, can you tell us a little about the history of the ERA and its significance?
It was first introduced in the 20s, and it took about 50 years for it to be finally passed in Congress in 1974. And what it does, as I understand it, is it basically, those laws that allow women to be paid less for the same work, those laws that basically let domestic abusers off because there's no real protection for the women who are being abused. Those are a couple of examples that the ERA would have a firm base upon which new laws would be, as I understand it, would be constructed for those protections. There's a movement, of course, that's been going on for some time. Some people who have educated me on the process have been Kimberly Johnson, the author, Marina Grohl, Barbara, as she's known on Facebook, Barbara ERA Anderson, and then Portia Bulger are a handful of folks. I just want to give them a shout out if they happen to see this. They've been very influential on me and educating me and firing me up to make this happen. It will basically allow women to be first-class citizens, which they should be anyway. After almost getting on for like 350 years, 400 years, that women have been contributing to the development of this republic, of this nation, and they're second-class citizens, and I think that's just ridiculous.
What were some specific factors that motivated you to fight for the ERA?
As I saw the 2000 election, how it was stolen, and the 2004 election, and it was actually, I believe, stolen in Ohio as well, I really started to see what the rhetoric was on the right, and when they stole those elections, the things that they would do, the things that they would say in response to that were of immediate concern to women. And I thought to myself, the Equal Rights Amendment probably would take care of a lot of this.
What do you think passage of the ERA would mean in the age of a Donald Trump presidency?
It will be a slap in the face of the Trump administration. Let me just put it that way. Because once that's codified into the U.S. Constitution, it's going to be very hard for Bannon and Trump and all those folks to do executive orders or have a law passed that does away with rights for women because it's in the Constitution.
So what do we do? How do we get the ERA passed?
My focus is on finding those states that are most likely primed to ratify it. One state, surprisingly enough, that is one of those states that hasn't ratified is Illinois. And I've got some friends who live in Chicago. I've got friends who are from Chicago and Illinois. And so I put them on social media to speak out to their state legislators and their state senators, representatives, whatever, to put pressure on them to introduce that legislation. Virginia is another one, and I think it's primed to do it because we've got a Democratic governor right now who's open to signing it, signing the ratification. And then right here in North Carolina, we've got a new Democratic governor who would go along with signing that.
What is one thing that you would say to legislators who are in a position to ratify the ERA?
Don't you think that they deserve to be first-class citizens? And this is kind of a no-brainer. It's not really a partisan political issue. It's a human rights issue.
Once again, I want to thank Asa for taking the time to speak to me about the ERA. I think it's important to note that this amendment has been in limbo for nearly a century, even as the U.S. has advocated that women should have equal rights under the law in other countries. It was introduced in 1923. It didn't pass Congress until 1972. And to this day, lobbyists continue to block ratification. So if you would like to get involved in the fight to ratify this amendment, as I think we all should, you can check out equalrightsamendment.org. The link is below. You can also talk to your local state legislator, especially if you live in one of the 15 states that has yet to ratify. 38 states must ratify in order for this amendment to become a law. As of 1977, 35 states have ratified, meaning only 3 states are needed. The 15 states that have not yet ratified are Alabama, Arizona, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, Nevada, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Utah, and Virginia.